Right. So, as the founder of Routine for Kids, can you tell us a little bit about what it is and why you started it?
Yep, so this is Routine for Kids. It's a pack of 52 cards, and they're basically used for the morning routine, the afternoon routines, and bedtime routines and weekend routines. And the aim of the cards basically to encourage your child to take ownership of their own routine, and it basically empowers them to do the next thing on the list.
So how did you come up with the concept? What made you create these?
So my daughter started school, and it was really tough for her, tough for us as a family. Just getting her out the door in the morning was really hard work. Just the usual things of brushing teeth, putting shoes on, getting dressed. There would just be an argument at every single step, and it was just causing a lot of friction and a lot of tension in the house. And we battled through until Christmas, just arguing, and she was tired, I was tired, and the teacher asked me at school if I was alright, and I burst out into tears, and wasn't alright. So she took me off to one side and we talked about the morning routine and how it was working and what we were actually doing, and sort of suggested that maybe we use things like TV as a reward to get them motivated, but equally allowing them to know what they were doing. And then I was like, oh, actually, if I was to draw all these steps out, they would be able to see what they're doing and also be able to decide themselves as to what they wanted to do, and giving them a chance to, do things on their terms and not just me nagging all the time. So I made a very rudimentary version of these, and she absolutely loved them. She instantly took to them. She was designing her routine, deciding whether she wanted to get dressed first or have a breakfast first, whether she wanted to have a juice or a porridge first, and just giving her a sense of control over her own thing, basically. And she absolutely loved it. And because it was in a row, she would lay it down like so, and then she would decide where things wanted to go herself. And then once it was up on the wall like we've got here, then basically she could decide what was next, because she could actually see what was next. And I didn't have to prompt her to do some of these things, because she knew once she'd done her uniform, she had to do a bag, so she would go and do that herself.
Okay, so do you need one of these stands, or can you just do it on the table? How do you use them?
We use it a lot on the table like this, just to actually get the design so that they can do it themselves and they're free to do it. I guess these things are a bit fiddly for kids to actually pin up themselves, so they would design it on the table, and then we'd pin it up like this, and then it's up here and everyone can see it. These things are good, again, because they can actually put these in themselves. I guess you can't get as many in here, but the kids can easily use this, so that's very useful as well.
So you say they've been useful for you, and you've just been using them for the morning, for mornings, or have you used them at other times?
Yep, so after school was really hard work, because they've been at school all day, learning a lot of stuff, and they're just overly tired. And I'd pick her up from school and there would just be meltdowns. We'd get home and she wouldn't know what we were doing. I had to make tea, just juggling all the things that you have to do after school, and she was just all over the show. So again, the second phase was actually to make these for the after school, and that gave her a sense of security. She kind of knew what she was doing. If we had any homework to do, that would then be rewarded by watching a bit of TV. So she knew that it wasn't just homework for the rest of the night. She knew that if she did that, then she would get to watch a bit of TV. And because it was up and everyone could see it, everyone was in on it. So yeah.
And what's the obviously really colourful? Is there any anything about the colours? Is there anything sort of distinctive about certain cards, or?
So the reason why I designed them, just because the colours are really bright and the kids really like them. The only specific colour that is to be used is the yellow ones, and these ones are for adults. And this basically, the yellow ones tend to be reward cards, and she's very aware that these ones she can't place in this linear schedule, so she knows she can change all these ones, but this I will use then as a reward for her eating her breakfast and fruit, for instance. And then if she's done these ones, then she gets to watch TV, and I've placed these in this order.
Okay.
But the rest of the colours don't have any significance for anything. It's just that they're nice and hopefully nice to put on the wall.
Yeah. And what's why do you think it's important? What difference has it made in terms of letting your daughter take ownership of her routine? Why is it important?
I think for a lot of kids, they don't have any say whatsoever over their life a lot of the time. They potentially given a few little choices in the day, but it's usually you have to do this, you've got to do this, we need to leave now, you've got to put your uniform on, you've got to put your shoes on, and they're just constantly told what to do. And if you do have like a strong-minded child that wants to do it their way, then how you approach them and allow them to think that they are doing it their way. My daughter just took to it straight away because she loves taking control of everything. So she just felt like she had designed this herself. Because she designed it herself, she was more likely to do it, and also it wasn't me nagging her, because it was, if I did have to prompt her to do something on the list, it would be, well, what's the list saying? So it's almost like a third person almost instructing her rather than me.
And what age group is this for? Is it how old's your daughter, for example?
She's 4, so she started using it when she went to school. But my son is 3, and he started to use it. I think 3+ generally is a good age where they start to understand the concept and they start to buy into routines. They know that they need to do a certain number of things, like for bedtime, for instance. But equally with my son, we've been using them in a game capacity, so we've been just using like memory games, and he absolutely loves it, so we'll say we've got to try and find the sleepy card and we move it round, and he loves doing that. They're just easy to have and to use in many different formats. I mean, we've made like animals and stuff out of these cards as well, and they just like holding them. There's a friend's card in here, and they just like having them and walking around with them. Excuse the aeroplane.
Okay, and I guess most importantly, if people want to get them, where can you get them?
So I'm on Instagram. Instagram's quite a good place to find us, because not only are we showing you how to use them, how other people are using them, but also I offer craft ideas and activities that you can do with your kids, which might come in useful over 6-week holidays and half term and such forth. But equally, it's just a nice place to kind of understand the brand, I guess. And then you've got the website, which is www.routineforkids.com, and that's where you can purchase them. If you want some, go there, I guess.
Great. Well, good luck.
Thanks.
I think the cards are really great, and I'd say it's been really interesting to hear a little bit more about it.
Perfect, thank you.